If you've tried the Pomodoro methods, you've tried the cold showers, you've tried the dopamine detoxes, but no matter what you do, you still can't focus, this is the reason. You see, I went through the exact same thing. I tried everything. Then I found one simple method that allowed me to work and focus for 6+ hours a day, enter flow state whenever I wanted to, and also make real money online. And the great part is now it's worked for over 100 entrepreneurs that I've given it to. And so in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to implement it. But first, to make this super simple to understand, let me take you back to when I started my first business. You see, I started my first business around the age of 15, 16, basically around 2 to 3 years ago. You know, I went through the usual process people go through where it's like they watch a video on how to make money online by Iman Gadzi, they watch it, they start a business expecting to make 10k per month, but it never happens, right? And so little old me, I would outreach every single day, having this expectation I was actually going to close the deal. I would outreach to these people, asking them if they needed my services, and they would just tell me to go away or get ghosted constantly. And it felt so hard to land a client, in my head at least. But that's when I realized the big problem most people don't talk about, right? You see, the reason why I wasn't landing any deals wasn't because of my business strategy, it was because I was only doing 15 outreaches a day. And keep in mind, those 15 outreaches I did every single day only took me 1 minute each. So really I was only doing 15 minutes of focus work per day. And so I'd try all these different hacks, these protocols, and it would work for a few days, but like after day 3, I would go back to being my unproductive self, not making the money I want to make. And after weeks and weeks of trying these different productivity hacks, I realized none of them actually work, and the problem lies much deeper. You see, in simple terms, the reason why you can't focus right now is because your brain will always focus on things that gives it more dopamine. So why we're so inclined to go on our phones nowadays when we're working is because that is much more stimulating than the work itself, right? It's why we're so inclined to eat junk food, even though we probably shouldn't do it, and we know we shouldn't do it either. And for most people, when they go to work, there's always usually something more stimulating than the work itself that causes them to get distracted and not actually do the work they want to do. It's very similar to an experiment that happened with a few dogs, right? So basically this guy put a few dogs in a cage, right? And when the dogs would try to leave the cage, he would give them a mild controlled shock. And so what they would do is it would instantly go back in the cage. Over time, they got conditioned to this new shock, and they didn't obviously try to exit the cage because they knew they would get shocked. But the people operating the experiments thought of a good idea. They said to themselves, let's just open a cage. We're not going to shock them or anything. We're just going to let them go. And they opened the cage, but the thing is, the dogs didn't actually go to leave the cage, they stayed in there. And the reason why they did this is because they were conditioned with pain, right? They didn't want to do it again because they knew they would probably get a controlled shock, even though they obviously wouldn't, right? And the point is, humans can do the exact same thing with our work. If we can condition ourselves to sit and work and focus for multiple hours at a time without getting distracted, over time that will become much easier for us to do. Because your brain will literally build a subconscious habit of the work, and it will kind of just get used to the pain involved with work, right? The mental friction, the boredom that it gets with it, and it will just not fight it at all, and it will keep doing what it's doing. And luckily for you, there's a couple of ways we can make this easier to do. All we need to do if we want to be able to focus is make the work the most stimulating thing in our environment. Make it release a tiny bit of more dopamine, and then our brain will actually want to do it more. And obviously the reward system inside our brain will continuously want us to do the work because it releases dopamine that we want, okay? And one of the easiest ways to actually do this and allow yourself to get addicted to the work is to literally just give yourself some visual feedback for your progress towards your goals, but also the tasks you're doing inside your day. So for example, some of the ways I do this is having specific timers for the steps to complete each task. And then I have habit trackers, then I have goal trackers or like progress trackers towards my goals. And what these are like checkpoints inside a video game. If you've ever played a video game, you know each mission you do has a checkpoint, right? A place where you can save your game, where you can level up, you can get different weapons, right? Every single time we get a checkpoint, we get hits of dopamine being released inside the brain. And it positively reinforces us to keep on working, keep on playing the mission, keep on playing the video game, right? Same thing with our work. If we have some kind of visual feedback that releases dopamine, we're going to keep on wanting to do the work. And like I said, it goes back to the experiment like I told you about, where you get conditioned to do the thing over time and your brain just gives up trying to fight it. And so there's one final action step I want you to start doing, and it's to simply condition yourself to work and focus for longer periods of time. Obviously abstaining from distractions, stopping yourself from getting distracted. And what this will do is it will program your mind to make it a lot easier to work and focus in the future, and also make sure you have some visual feedback cues or systems that help you and release dopamine to make you more inclined to do the work as well. Now the reason why this works over every other productivity hack is because a lot of them just don't even give you any reward, right? When you use the Pomodoro method, for example, you don't really get a huge reward. You don't get a huge amount of dopamine from the work, right? But when you use it like this, it really does make a difference, okay? So this is the entire method I've used to actually help tons of entrepreneurs and help myself with focus and accessing flow state for hours at a time. And I just want to end it here. If you're an entrepreneur who wants to get into a flow state for 6+ hours a day, completely blow up your business by 2 times in your mental performance and accessing flow state for 6+ hours a day, click the first link in the description or the pinned comments to join my free community. We get a free flow state course and a free coaching call with me. Okay? An amazing day. Peace.